this is your time.
Hello, phone users, welcome back to another video. And today's video is basically the first part of after the intro. And I did say it was going to be about a 5-part video or series, 5-6 part series, but I might change that. I might only make that 4 parts. Actually, it might still be 5 parts. Honestly, it might be just the stuff, and then the more stuff, and then other stuff. But I digress. So basically, we got some parts in. And now it's not all the parts, it's only about half the parts. Half of them are still shipping as of recording this. I've only gotten a couple parts. Everything else is either very close to being delivered, or delivering, or within a week or two. You know, I don't know for sure. But let's get on to some of one of the most important parts of this PC. That is the GPU. This is a GTX 1080 Seahawk EK. This is a custom-made water block by MSI and EK. You know, they're together. They made their own custom water block together. And it looks pretty dope with the dragon. Now, I kind of wish it was red to match the aesthetic, but I digress. Again. But as you can see here, you know, it has some ports, has the stoppers. It's a very tall card, and it's pretty heavy because the plexi on here is extremely thick. If you can see that, the plexi on here is pretty darn thick. And yeah, so that's the biggest part of this build, is the graphics card. The CPU is important, but for me, it's more graphics wise because I'm going to be upgrading a lot of other stuff too. So, now the next biggest part is something you can't have without. You can't have your computer without radiators. Now this is a very high density radiator because you can barely see me through those, through the fins. And this is a 240mm radiator, which is going to sit up top, basically. And I actually have 2 radiators. Now, yes, I know this is a different color. It's gunmetal gray, and this is like black, onyx black almost. But this is a 360, and it's a lot less dense. It may not seem like it, but it is actually less dense. It's like half the density of this, pretty much. This is 30. This is, I think, 16 or something. But this is 360mm, means 3 fans, 2 fans. Basically, it's going to be like this. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But it's going to be mounted this way on the case. I'm not sure if it's going to be this way or this way. I'm trying to debate it. It might be this way for a more cleaner curve versus here where it might kink. And where kinking basically means where the tube like just bends and then no water can pass through. But to them, this is way over for what I need in radiator space, but I'm using lower RPM fans because they're just regular RGB fans. They're lower RPM. They're not meant for water cooling, so I wanted to make sure I had enough. If you use some pretty decent fans with this 360mm, this is all you should need for overclocking GTX 1080 and GTX and i5 7600K. All you really need is a nice 360mm radiator. This is slightly thicker. It's 32mm versus other slims, which are 30, which is actually good because it's a little more cooling power for what I need, and it's a lower FPI, which is better with slower fans. This is higher FPI, but I got an extremely good deal on this, like half off. But it does need faster RPM fans, which I'm not gonna have, which is gonna suck. But who cares? Now this is a 240mm radiator, which means 2 fans can be put onto it. And here you can see is our fittings. Now what fitting basically is these are compression fittings because I went for the more expensive, probably better looking. Is you have your barb and then you stick your tube on, and then you want to make sure you put this onto the tube before you put it on the tube, and then basically you can tighten that down, and it ensures a seal or a good lock for a while. And I have these on both sides, and you can see this radiator slightly different than this one because this one has both on top, and that's pretty much it. This one has it on either side, and now why I'm doing that is because when I have it up here, I could have it go from radiator to radiator, and then from this part down to the CPU, so it's a lot cleaner, less tubing necessary, And speaking of tubing, we have tubing. This is currently in a bag. Let me get one that's not in a bag for you guys. Now, here is tubing. This is only, I believe, a 2-foot section. I have a lot of these. This is pre-cut. I was just doing some basic measurements, and I made it long enough to where I can make the measurements, but slim enough to where I can reuse it. And this is a Primo Chill LRX or something like that. LTR or something. I don't remember exactly, but it's a really nice tubing, and I just smacked myself. And it's supposed to be bloodshed red, and it's not really that red, but it's pretty red compared to what I was expecting. And it's slightly opaque, but not enough, or slightly transparent, but not enough to like matter. But basically, you know, this is just some basic tubing. It's pretty nice tubing, according, and you can like twist this pretty far before it starts really kinking. Like this is a pretty tight curve, and it still didn't kink, which is good. Now, the last piece I have with me currently that has been delivered is the reservoir. Now, I did pre-put on these the brackets for it because I was having some trouble with the brackets, so I want to make sure I got them all done. But basically, it's going to be mounted this way. Now, yes, the thicker part should be on the bottom to make it look nicer and make it look more normal. But I had to put it this way because I have the fill port, which has a 90-degree fitting on it, which can turn whichever way you like it. But this is going to be my fill drain. It's going to just keep... It's just going to go up, and I'll be able to fill it from the very top because I'm going to make so yeah, actually I'll probably have the radiator over on the side, so when I have this right here, I can have the thing just go straight up, and on my thing I could just have a custom fill port and valve, so I just won't have an issue there, which will be good. The top is going to be the insert for the 360mm into here. It's going to be mounted like this way. I have a stopper here because this is going to be unused, and it kind of looks pretty cool. It looks like an eye or something. And down here I have the dual G14 threaded thing, so I can put the pump literally right under that, and it looks pretty darn good. I have the standoffs already put on, so whenever I get a couple more parts in, mainly the new fans, I can actually start measuring it to having all that measured. But it comes with some L brackets if you wanted to attach it to the radiator. I'm not going to do that because A, I don't think it will look that good, and B, I already have a pretty specific cutout on the back of the panel, or the back of the case, which will hopefully work for this thread of a screw. Hopefully I could probably get that in. But that's pretty much all the parts we've currently gotten in. As I said, a lot more are on their way, and by a lot more I mean maybe like three more important pieces of this computer. And yeah, all we're missing is the CPU block, the pump, the fans, and just a couple other basic fittings, and that's pretty much it that I can think of. And yeah, if you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and Noobster out.